Hello, I want to do a video about intuition. Now, one of my core philosophies with healing is that every single person is going to be on their own healing journey. No one can tell you what you need to do. Only you can figure that out. And how you do that is largely through the process of trial and error, but also through the process of tapping into your intuition. There's so many things that can get in the way of our intuition. Our subconscious belief systems, our fear, our traumas, our stress, other people's opinions. All of these things can interfere with our ability to tap into our intuition. But that's the only way forward, is to figure out how to tap into your intuition. And something that I've learned in my life is that when I have those moments of clarity, where I'm able to tap into my intuition, to take note, to really take note, and to pay attention, and to trust, when I'm 100% certain, okay, I'm clear right now, I broke through, this is my deepest intuition, this is my higher self telling me what to do, I need to go this way, to trust. Because then afterwards, the voices of doubt and skepticism and fear and resistance are going to come in. In my experience, I've discovered that a lot of times those voices of intuition are telling me to do things that maybe I don't want to do, because growth is a big part of this process, and growth is often uncomfortable. So many of the times the things that we need to do to heal are things that we're avoiding. I was listening to a podcast today, and someone was mentioning the definition of trauma and talking about healing traumas to heal our bodies and to heal our hearts and our minds. And they define trauma as any experience, emotional experience, in which you are unable to emotionally process at that time. It's a pretty revolutionary definition to me. And it makes so much sense. It fits so well with what I've experienced. Trauma is any emotional experience you're unable to process in that moment. And with that definition, everyday life, every day of life can be traumatic for many of us, because our lives that we're living, the environments that we're in, the jobs that we're working are not supporting our emotional well-being, and because we as emotional beings don't have the vitality and the capacity and the skill to properly process those emotions. And this is where we shut down, we turn down that emotional volume, and we become numb. We distract ourselves with shopping or drugs or television. And all the while, we're avoiding processing those emotions. And it may, something like, let me use cannabis for example in my life. A lot of times people say, oh, well, what's the harm in cannabis? It's just, it's like one of the most harmless drugs there are, right? It's a pretty safe drug as far as drugs are concerned. But in my experience, I was using it to hide from my emotions, because that emotional processing was very painful and very difficult. And the more I used cannabis to hide from my emotions, the more of a backlog of trauma that I developed. And now that I've no longer am using that, I'm noticing myself finding other ways to hide from that process of emotional healing, that process of cleansing my emotional body by working through these traumas. And really, the most simple things like turning off the TV and being alone with your feelings can have profound impacts on your overall healing. I mean, anyone who's ever done any sort of silent meditation work, or long-term, like 3 days or more of forest bathing, they've experienced this, that just turning off the input starts this whole process of the energetic, emotional, psychological, and physical system cleansing itself. If you've ever done any water fasting, this happens very intensely, not just on the physical level, but the psychological and emotional level. You start working through these traumas. And a lot of people get into trouble because they resist the feelings, right? Those emotional traumas, you have to feel it again to heal it. You have to feel it as it comes out. And if you resist it, you're bottling it back down. You know, you don't have to distract yourself with drugs or television or porn to push it back down. You can just say, no, I don't want to feel that. And that's still a form of resisting your body's healing. Learn to observe your feelings and let go of resistance to what is. You know, allow your body and your being to heal itself. It knows what to do. Don't resist what you're feeling. Trust your feelings. Allow them to be. Trust that what's happening is for your greater good. And on the other side of those emotional traumas, when you've healed, when you've broken through, is joy and better physical vitality. This is something I'm still working on. I have a lot of emotional trauma to work through, and I often resist it. So I'm going to work on letting go of that resistance and feeling everything I feel. And when I tap into that intuitive voice, when I finally get there, I'm going to pay attention. Because when those voices of doubt and resistance come in, I'm going to remember. I'm going to remember what truth I discovered and trusted, so that I can better navigate this life and this healing process. I think that might help you too. Thanks for watching. Hope this video helped you, helped me to make it.